Hello everybody and welcome to another amazing video of DIY investing. As you guys noticed, over the last couple days, Bitcoin has had a massive rebound and we are now consolidating back on our range low of support. We talked about this in my last update, analyzing two different scenarios where Bitcoin was going to lose support and fall to a new low, or whether Bitcoin was going to regain support and actually start another breakout. Now that we're sitting on support, we're going to be talking about exactly what Bitcoin needs to do for us to see a breakout, and then also how to go about playing the market, whatever direction it takes, so that we can be profitable and stay on the best side of the trade possible. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, let's jump right into this amazing video today. Alrighty guys, now here we are to start off today's video, and we have a banger. Now guys, everything that we needed to see for the bulls to hold support, for the bulls to see a new breakout, has happened. Now guys, obviously in my last video I talked about why I was leaning bearish when we were consolidating right below our support line. And I said that as long as we were below this green line, basically being $26,000, then in my opinion we were going to ultimately see downside. But I said that if we were able to reclaim our range support, as what we did right here, then at that point I would actually be leaning to a bullish case. And as you guys can see, even though we had this breakdown of support, we instantly rebounded and we're now consolidating back onto that same level. So nothing has changed, guys. The same analysis that we've had since the 13th of March is continuing to hold through. And here's the thing I want you guys to remember. Now, in my last video, I did talk about why I thought that we were going to end up breaking down from this, because we ultimately lost support up in here. Now, the thing is, we instantly regained this support once again. And so what that tells me is we have now had 3 different attempts at a breakdown of this support level, and every single one of those attempts has instantly got bought up. And so now that we're kind of consolidating back on this same support level, to me, I think that we have confirmation that we need that most likely this support's going to hold, considering the fact we've now had 3 different attempts at a breakdown, and all 3 of those attempts have got stuffed. So in the shorter time frames, if you're wondering how to play this market, now that we have successfully regained this support for a 3rd time, I would assume that we're most likely not going to be breaking down from this, and this one's going to be making an attempt back up to these range highs. And I'm going to be drawing a resistance there at 29.2, and I'm going to be drawing another one up here at basically 29.8. And this is where I believe that the price of Bitcoin is going to be headed over the next couple weeks. You know, guys, we've spent a lot of time that we've been consolidating inside of this support and resistance range. You know, we've spent every single time we spent at support down in here has produced a bounce to the upside. And most recently, over the last couple weeks, we've actually been seeing the market of Bitcoin trending on this support quite consistently. We haven't had any real attempts at a big breakup except for this move here, but this one only went up to the mid-range point. With us now reclaiming this same level, looking strong as support, I think that the next leg up is going to be taking us upwards to the range highs. Now the question comes, are we going to be able to break out, or is this going to end up being another long-term consolidation before we come back down to the range lows? Now, in my opinion, because we've spent so much time over the last couple weeks sitting at this support level, that's why I'm leaning that we're going to be making a move back up to the range highs, and I personally believe that this is going to be the move that is either going to break out, or if we're unable to get above this move, I think that this starts a long-term correction. And this is the way that I'm going to be playing the market from here. These are the only 2 scenarios that I see fit. This is either a higher time frame distribution top, and I still think that regardless, we're going to have to make one more run up back to these range highs. If this is going to end up being a long-term bearish consolidation, us actually making some type of lower high at that resistance, basically around 29 to 29.2 thousand, then at that point we would be looking for the potential of a short opportunity in there. Now when we zoom out of here to the bigger time frames, the big thing that we've been watching for has been whether or not this 25K range was going to hold. Now here's the important thing I want you guys to remember. Now, most recently we were consolidating and we had these 2 different attempts at a breakdown, but both of them were consolidating on top of this support. Now, this is when I started leaning that we were going to break out. We did see that breakout, but then when we lost this support, I was leaning bearish. With us regaining this support once again, we've now had a 3rd successful retest of this same consolidation range. that we've been in. And to me, that's giving us even more validity that says this is most likely going to end up holding, and this will take us into that final blow off top. There is only two scenarios that I see the market playing out for Bitcoin. Scenario A is that this leads to some type of a blow off top, and scenario B would be that we see some type of lower high, run up to 29.2 or 29.3, something like that, before selling back down and finishing one final, sell off like this. Those are the two scenarios that I see fit. I think regardless, in the short term, Bitcoin looks like it wants to bounce, and that's the trend that I'm going to be leaning to. With us now reclaiming this prior support level, in my opinion, with us now having 3 different attempts at a breakdown that were unsuccessful, now comes the time where we're going to be rallying back up pretty hard. Now, one other thought here is actually Ethereum. And Ethereum is at a really important time where we're consolidating right here at this descending resistance. We're kind of just waiting to determine whether or not we're going to hold. But that's really all decided around Bitcoin. To me, Bitcoin looks exceptional. And once Bitcoin can really get outside of this descending resistance, that's the point where this entire bearish consolidation will be over. I believe that this, once broken, which easily could be in this next leg up, I'm not really sure, but if we see a strong move up and we run upwards of, this resistance here, or even the tops of this resistance here, at around 29.2, then that would be the breakout that we need. And even a pullback to that level would be us flipping the mid-range point of this entire consolidation as support, and I really think that that would set in the whole reversal for the entire market. So if we're going to see a big bullish breakout, I think it'll kind of happen in the way that I've drawn this to some extent. Obviously it can differ to a varying extent, but really the way that I see this market having had just reclaimed the support, most likely this leads to a bigger breakout to the upside. And a lot of this is really riding around this S&P 500. We've been watching this for a long period of time now. You guys already know that my target has been sitting here at 43.2, and that's literally right where we're at, about 43.26, and we're consolidating right below that resistance. In my opinion, we're about to take out this resistance. I wouldn't be surprised if we get one big green candle that kind of opens up like this. Maybe we get that secondary day where we get a red day that sells back to retest that. But I think regardless, the way that this market cycle is looking, we only have 2 resistance levels left after we're pretty much right below this one right now, my first target. I think that the way that the structure is looking, this is a very obvious support foundation that we're building. We had lower lows and lower highs. We made our first higher high and higher low right here, and we've basically been consistently holding that trend ever since. Now, the way that our consolidation looks, when I zoom out on like a monthly time frame, this literally just looks like your typical, higher high, higher low type consolidation that we've always had. And, to me, I don't really see, okay, I will admit I do see the scenario of this, but this is the way that I see everybody drawing it. They're drawing this as being some big ABC before it just falls all the way down to like this, and we start a Great Depression, right? Everybody's looking at this as being some big complacency, Great Depression 2.0, the world's going to die, and we're going to start this. I could not disagree more. And I believe that we're still, getting ready for a blow-off top. We still have this money printer in effect. We still have the US dollar crumbling. We have all these other governments and countries banding together to start their own petrodollar, doing all of these things. In my opinion, the inevitable demise of the S&P 500, of the Dow Jones, of the US dollar, of the American way, will come in a glorious blow-off top. Will the blow-off top matter? No, because it will be fueled by hyperinflation, everybody in America losing everything that they've worked all of their lives for, and in turn, starting not a Great Depression, but the Great Collapse. So I honestly think that America is doomed long-term. The question is, how does the rebound happen? What country takes over after that? Is it China? How bad is the rebound? I don't know about those questions. But when I look at the S&P 500, to me, I don't see a way that this market cycle ends without us having just the most glorious blow-off top, fueled by hyperinflation, fueled by everybody just not really having any sort of income anymore, all of the economy crumbling, debt skyrocketing. It will be a giant bubble of debt. And it will basically equate to no real value because everybody will lose everything in the process that's in America. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, big picture. And so when I'm looking at this chart, to me, I don't see the potential that this is just going to do this and fall. I see this having at least a move up to 6,000 before this is done. could have pullback back down. But regardless, guys, this doesn't look like anything that's done. To me, when I look at this chart, it looks so much like Bitcoin did back in that 2017 cycle, which if we remove all the drawing tools, let's go back over here and actually take a look. To me, it looks a lot like what Bitcoin did in 2017. It's almost the same sort of, consolidation. The only real difference here is we're missing like the big, true blow off top. But I mean, this consolidation that Bitcoin went through, these two big legs up that led to this final blow off top. This is the exact same consolidation that the S&P 500 just went through from 2008. And we're inside of that blow off top right now. Where I believe that we're at is right here, right? If we're looking at this, either this sell-off being November of 2017 was COVID here, or regardless, it's happening where we're at right now. I think either way, what this points to is some type of meteoric type of rise, a blow off top, right? And I just don't see how, when we're looking at this, this doesn't look like a blow off top. This is getting close to one, but this is really the foundation of one, which is gonna, anger people. Everybody's so optimistic about the end of the dollar. Everybody just knows that we're in a recession right now. If you talk to any average person on Twitter, and if you just follow a few crypto pages on Facebook, and you hear the average thought process happening in the comment section, the majority of people genuinely believe that we're in a recession, even though none of the data supports that, even though realistically, recessions happen after the top of a move. And so for us to be having a recession after we've been trending down for a year and a half, there's just too many things that don't line up. And there's just a lot of overly emotional people that aren't able to see the big picture. And I firmly believe that long term, we are going to see a true euphoric blow off top that happens across the board on all of these American stock companies. And this will be the end of a 100-year cycle. Now, how Bitcoin factors into this, Bitcoin's going to benefit, guys. Bitcoin is going to do phenomenal because Bitcoin is literally the new way of currency. Bitcoin is digital currency. That we're already seeing China, we're seeing the Middle East, we're seeing Russia uniting under a petrodollar to basically make their own reserve currency inside of the oil trade. They're settling things in the Chinese currency, right? So with all of that being said, it's all being done digitally anyway. So why is it so hard to believe that Bitcoin won't be a key focal point in all of that? To me, when I'm looking at the price of Bitcoin, we know that we just started a new bull market, and now with us having flipped this 25K level, even though it's taking a lot of time of consolidation here, I believe that the next leg up for Bitcoin is also going to be a very big markup period that ends up playing out like 2019 did, where we run upwards of 48.5, maybe on a low end of about 40,000. But that's to me what I'm watching for with Bitcoin. And then from there, we might start this long-term consolidation before we start anything crazy happening sometime the end of next year. I don't know. But this is what I'm leaning towards, guys. And the way that I see the market, the S&P 500 looks bullish. I mean, there's really nothing that's telling me this is bearish. Long term, I think that this thing's just going to go absolutely insane. But I mean, in the short term as well, everything is bullish. All of our indices are bullish. Gold is sitting at basically all-time highs, about to go into price discovery. Silver keeps breaking out. The price of oil and crude oil specifically is broken out of a major downtrend. It is now looking like it's starting a new cycle. There is a lot of market cycles that are going to be blowing up, and I don't think it matters whether it's commodities or whether it's stocks. Certain things won't go up, like bank stocks will probably struggle. There will be certain industries that don't, but as a rule, for me, what I'm focused on is commodities, and I'm focused on technologies. And for me, I think that the S&P 500 showing this bullish setup is more or less indicating that we're going to have kind of a universal bull run, even though commodities look exceptionally bullish, and I believe that we are in a highly inflationary time, which historically is where we see these sort of commodities benefit. I think that even in the short term, we're going to see stocks do well as a whole. And so it's not just going to be commodities that do well, because I don't believe that we're actually in a recession. If we were in a recession, we wouldn't see stocks do well. We wouldn't see anything really do well besides commodities. The fact is, we're seeing commodities look very bullish, which is always a red flag telling us, hey, a recession is looming. Hey, there's something negative inside of our economy. We got to pay attention, right? These are warning signs. When commodities do well, it's because of weakening inside of our economy. But the problem here, guys, is not only do commodities look good, but the stock market looks good too. So they all kind of look good together, which tells me, at least in the short term, maybe it's 2 years, maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 6 more years. I don't know how much time. But what I'm telling you guys, I think that at least in the short term, we're going to see stocks and commodities kind of go up together. And I think that eventually that will lead towards the commodities having the true spotlight when, stocks and everything start to crumble. But for me, everything in the charts is telling us that we're still having plenty more upside potential. The stock market looks bullish. Bitcoin just started a new bull run. We can look at the crude oil markets and they look really bullish. There's a number of different things that we can look at that are telling us that most likely this is going to keep going up. And so I wouldn't be betting on this stuff. I've been a bull since the bottom, and I've been a bull forever, but you guys already know that this is my plan. This is what I'm going to continue to stick to. In my humble opinion, the second that the S&P 500 gets above this mid-range point that we've been consolidating on, that's a go for Bitcoin. If the S&P 500 flips this mid-range point and we run upwards of maybe this lower high or even the all-time highs here, Bitcoin itself is running upwards of these lower highs being $40,000 and $50,000. So I think that the most important thing for us to do in the short term, if you're watching Bitcoin, is whether or not we're going to hold this support. As of right now, we are holding it. We have reclaimed that support, and I do believe we're going to be making a run at the range highs. So if you guys were wondering, this is my thoughts. This is my perspective. Gave you guys some of my own, bullcrap ideas about the stock market as well, just kind of rambled on. But I wanted to give you guys a nice solid update. We have everything that we needed to see, and so with us now reclaiming this support, the target's obviously going to be these range highs in the exact same way it has been every time we've bounced off this range. Keep it simple, keep it effective, and I promise you guys are going to be a lot more profitable in the process. So with that being said, if you guys want to join the Discord server, download my free ebook. Links are in the description for that. For anybody who'd like to also follow the trades that I take, anything that I'm doing with my money over the course of an entire cycle, links are in the description to go ahead and sign up on my website. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. And really, seeing the market hold support, even though I thought that we were going to be breaking down right here, and I was and the market then reclaimed it, it makes me happy because this ultimately is going to lead towards another move. I want to see a final blow off top to this cycle, because if we do that, there's going to be way more money to be made for you guys, there's going to be way more money to be made for me, and it's just going to be all around a better experience for everybody. If we get a final blow off top and we run upwards of 40 and 50K, we have a very obvious opportunity of taking profit that we've made accumulating down in here, taking that profit at the highs, and then waiting for Bitcoin to settle down. If Bitcoin does another one of these, which up to this point we have behaved very similar to 2019. If we do another one of these and then we go through this long consolidation and you get an opportunity to buy all the way basically at the very beginning of the impulse, why would you have not sold at these high points? And that's kind of the point that I'm at right now. If we see Bitcoin running upwards of 40 and 50,000, take your profits, take the majority of your profits, get out of the market and buy that dip, because I am very confident that we're not just going to be breaking out into new all-time highs like a lot of people believe. I'm very confident that we'll go through a period of reaccumulation and there will always be dips to buy. The problem comes when the people aren't willing to take their profits after a big rise up. I'm not taking profits right here because to me it's just not been a big enough impulse. But if we see a big impulse upwards of this level here, I am selling a lot of it and I'm getting out and I'm going to be looking to buy that dip. So this is my thoughts, this is my perspective. Make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you guys join the Discord server, whatever it is. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.